Health with Paul Rosen.
Our diets, our Western diets in America are just really, you just don't realize how poor they really are.
What would you say to others who would like to feel better?
Sometimes you need to find the instruction. That's where the testing and everything comes in, because without that knowledge, there's no way I could have got to the point where I'm at today.
Straight talk about health.
And then I start preaching and telling them what I've been doing. And this guy named Paul Rosen has changed my life.
With your host, Paul Rosen.
By the way, the information contained in this program is not approved by the FDA, nor intended to treat, diagnose, or claim to cure any medical condition or disease as defined by Western medicine. However, skilled practitioners of many disciplines have found nutrition response testing to be a highly reliable supportive technology for assessing the health and fitness of the body's functional system. I wanted to take the first segment of the show to explain to you folks, for all you folks who are waiting to hear what is the magical supplement or the magical herb or the magical homeopathic remedy that is going to put your state of health right. See you later. As a practitioner for creeping up to 30 years, I realized there is no such thing. There is no such thing as the supplement, the homeopathic remedy, the herb that is going to make your health right. And I learned that the hard way because my own health went south some 25 years ago. And with all the training that I've had, both in the United States and in Europe and in China, I couldn't find that magical supplement or that magical herb or that magical homeopathic remedy. And I struggled for over 7 years until I discovered a gentleman by the name of Dr. Freddie Hewlin, who was teaching and practicing something called nutrition response testing, which is a technology based on muscle testing, kinesiology. And when I first heard of him, I simply wasn't willing to take that leap. I was hyper skeptical about something called muscle testing because I actually have collegiate degrees in sciences like physics and chemistry and mathematics. And I just couldn't believe that the kind of technology that he was offering could be anything other than just vapor, just lunacy, craziness. And so when I first heard of him, even though I was struggling dramatically with my health, I just avoided it. And 6 months after my first encounter with his work, not him yet, I heard about it again. It circled back and came into my view, and I decided, because I'm a very practical person, I decided, well, you know what? I've got to let what I think I know go, just temporarily, and check this out. And that's what I did. And as they say, the rest is history.
So here you are now, some 20-odd years later, a complete convert. Is that right?
Totally. In fact, such a convert that a number of years ago, I wrote a book called The Great Health Heist and a subsequent book called The Missing Piece, which highlighted and demonstrated the efficacy, case by case, of this particular approach. And not only did it save my own life, but I was able to get trained by Freddie and then bring it to Portland and Vancouver many years ago in the form of Econatural Family Healthcare, a nutritional healing clinic, and have helped countless number of people crack the most difficult situations. So the first thing, folks, in order to benefit from this show is, number one, are you ready, willing, and able? All three, ready, willing and able to set aside your preconceived, preconditioned notions of what might work and what might not work. You already know that the scattergun approach, the reading of the articles about various types of supplements, and then buying them and using them isn't working very well. Now, for those of you who happenstantially landed on something, God bless. But I am a highly trained practitioner in a number of disciplines, including nutrition. And that didn't happen for me. And I tried every conceivable kind of approach, including Western medicine, by the way. And no one or nothing was able to help me. And by taking Freddie's work, the nutrition response testing, and putting into practice here in our community, I was able to crack the toughest cases. I mean, I'm talking about all kinds of autoimmune conditions related to the thyroid, Graves, and Hashimoto's, and migraines, and dry eyes, and loss of taste, loss of smell, asthma, seasonal allergies, moving into the digestive tract problems of all types, hyperacidity, Crohn's, and IBS and IBD. And anyway, what I'm saying is the list goes on, because these are all functional malfunctions, all functional dysfunctions. And when it comes to utilizing drugs and surgery, pharmaceuticals and surgery, there is very little that can be done with those tools when it comes to functional illnesses. Very, very little. So I've spent my whole practice, my whole approach, getting people off of pharmaceuticals. Because pharmaceuticals, although they may, on the front side for some folks, moderate or ameliorate, or in much smaller terms, address the symptoms of an individual, they absolutely come with baggage. They come with side effects. And many times those side effects can be worse than the actual condition that they're treating. And if you think that if you're taking a pharmaceutical and your symptoms have gone away, that you've actually treated the root cause of the problem, I have some news for you. You're mistaken. So, readiness, willingness, and openness to do something radically different, but with the highest degree of certainty when it comes to effectiveness. You've got to be willing to change your lifestyle. So, for example, I have never helped anybody resolve their complicated or even simple health problem unless they stop eating sugar. That's right. That is the price of entrance to working with me and Eck Natural Family Healthcare. You have to be ready to give up your drug of choice, which is sugar. And I don't like it. I miss my chocolate chip cookies and my brownies. But you know what I don't miss?
Being sick all the time.
Thank you, Rod. I don't miss being sick all the time. I don't miss not feeling well. I don't miss the symptom rainbow that I was experiencing for so many years. I don't miss them. Okay, so it's a sacrifice. It's a trade-off. Eliminate a bad habit, a habit which is absolutely desecrating your house, your home. I'm speaking about the body that you currently occupy. And that's all there is to it. I mean, I wish I could bring you, an entire bed of roses. I wish I could say that you could, have your cake and eat it too. And you know what? Anybody promising you that, and you spend money with that organization or that individual, then God bless.
You know, I know, Paul, you're speaking from the point of view of someone who knows that many of us are pretty much addicted to sugar, figuratively and literally, maybe in some cases. But I'm here to tell you that maybe giving up sugar isn't as tough as even you're making it out to be right now.
Well, it turns out that even for myself, that's totally true. I was like freaked out. And when I got my personalized nutritional healing program, which, by the way, is the only all but guaranteed for sure resolution of your problem. Because every person is an individual and every person has their uniquenesses. And if you don't address those uniquenesses with an effective solution, then all you're going to do is spend a ton of money on practitioners, on supplements of various sorts, and go nowhere.
But despite that, despite our uniquenesses, the one thing we can all do to begin is give up sugar. That's
Correct.
Rule number one.
Correct. And so this radio show is a beacon, intentionally a beacon, to let you guys, you folks, know that if you would prefer not to use medications and or surgery for many different types of functional issues, there is a solution. There is a way to address it with the highest degree of certainty that I know of. And by the way, if you come and get evaluated and I have the opportunity to assess your situation and I can't help you, I'll tell you right then and there, so that you don't have to spend a ton of money, waiting and seeing if this is going to work. But don't expect me to give you the mystery magical supplement. Don't expect me to give you the mystery magical herb, the mystery magical homeopathic, the mystery magical device, because every person is unique. And what one person's magical tool is another person's nothing. Which is why, if you're reading about a supplement, if you're reading about, how important kale is in your life, or how important turmeric is in your life, or whatever the latest craze happens to be, and you apply it to yourself without having the knowledge of your uniquenesses, then you're just an experiment. You're just a guinea pig for yourself and your piggy bank. That's what I learned myself. That's what I've taught untold number of people in our community. So I welcome all of you folks to listen to my message. There is hope. There is hope. There is a way to address functional illnesses of all stripes and all natures. And especially if you're willing to utilize, and this is the key, willing to utilize a technology, this new nutrition response testing stuff, to be able to identify what your unique situation is so we can crack the case. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, nothing important. If you're looking for an elixir or snake oil, see a snake. That's not what we're selling here. We're giving you ideas about how to make your health better, but it does take effort from you.
Well, I mean, it takes more than effort, really. It takes a willingness to recognize that even though you have access in our culture, you have access to all kinds of alternative tools. Just understand that without the uniquenesses, and there's one other factor that I'm going to talk about, without knowing your uniquenesses, the likelihood that you're going to crack the case, that you're going to find out what you need, is really, really low. And the second thing is, and this is really important, and it's something that I've learned over the years, and that is that let's just make the assumption that you eat perfectly. You managed, for whatever serendipitous reason, to eat perfectly. You found your diet. And serendipitously, you found the supplement that seems to help you with your symptoms. Here's the chink in the armor. The chink in the armor is that if you don't understand how the environment is affecting your body, then all of that effort, both changing your diet and finding your magical supplement, will ultimately crumble.
What do you mean by environment?
The environment basically impinges on our bodies in the form of food sensitivities, chemicals, metals like aluminum, mercury, arsenic, ongoing immune challenges. Most folks have some kind of ongoing immune challenge, either a parasite or a virus or a bacteria or a fungus of some sort. It's just the price of being an organism and living on planet Earth, right? Not so that they're necessarily causing you to, be bedridden, although that was my situation. And if it has gotten that far, then look out. But if it hasn't gotten that far, but yet you're not feeling quite like you used to or like you think you should, that's one category of environmental impingement that's really critical to identify and then address specifically with the right tools.
So environmental impingements could be outdoors. They could be coming from pollutants in the air. They could be coming from things in our homes, like building materials. And you can actually get past those or deal with them effectively through diet. Is that what I'm hearing? Or
No.
you can also change your environment.
No.
No to all of the above.
No, not to all of the above. But it requires knowing which of those things, which of those environmental impingements are affecting an individual so that we can go to the tool chest and apply the appropriate supplement or herb or vitamin or mineral or homeopathic or whatever. And with that specific application, solve the riddle.
Now, that's valuable information to know exactly what parts of your environment are impacting you and having a means of resisting.
All of the people, all of the patients that you hear on this show started out skeptical. Every single one. Some, if there was a spectrum of skeptic, I was on the far side of not a chance in heck. But some people start with less skepticism, or everywhere in between. But every single individual that you ever hear on this show, with respect to my interviewing a patient, started out skeptical. Every one. And yet, after getting evaluated, finding their uniquenesses, and then me helping them get on track and guiding them through the process, will tell you, you hear every single one say, "What are you waiting for?" Right? At the end of the interview, I asked the question, "Well, what would you recommend to anybody else out there who is suffering?" And they'll say, "What are you waiting for?" Right? Which is why you hear me say, "What are you waiting for?"
And if you're ill, I guess that applies especially because if nothing seems to be working and you're in that same cycle, why would you not want to try something like this?
You can't change unless you change. There is no change without change. And if you want to thrash around for a little longer, fine. I certainly did. And yes, you're going to have to spend $1 or $2. But if you're looking to this show for me to identify what is the best supplement, then you're going to wait a long, long time. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're truly interested in changing the trajectory of your health, then you have to know your uniquenesses. And number 2, You have to know how the environment is affecting your body and your nervous system. And all of that can be ascertained. All of it. That's the exciting thing. That's what Freddie Ulan did for me.
Can we take it as a given, Paul, that the environment is having an impact on us every day?
100%. It's happening like it or not. It's happening like it or not. Yeah.
And like I said, that could be building materials in your own home. It could be things you put in your home.
Well,
maybe appliances
oftentimes
or things like
it's, as far as home goes, oftentimes, especially for women, it's the cosmetics that they're using. It's the, for men and women, it's the cleaning supplies that you're using. It's what you wash your clothes with. It's what you dry your clothes. All of these things are negatively, for the most part, unless you've been otherwise guided, are negatively impacting they are endocrine disruptors, so they're negatively impacting your body's ability to maintain normal function. And so by identifying these things, which is what we help people do in the clinic, all of a sudden the light goes on. You know those the harmony. Whoa!
Yeah, the light bulb goes on.
The light
at
bulb
that
goes
point.
on, and harmony begins. The clouds part, and
Wow, can you guarantee that, a parting of the clouds? But you know what? Even better than that would just be feeling better, I think.
And that is the key.
It sure is.
That's
Anybody, if you've had any illness at any time or any kind of chronic pain, the moment that is removed, you are a new person right then at that very second. And this is a way of getting you to that point.
Yeah. And so I thank you out there, listening audience, for putting up with me in that respect. But now you understand where I'm coming from, and you understand truly what's needed to turn things around.
The following is brought to you by AccuNatural Family Healthcare.
Things that are unhealthy. Number 16, content-free debates.
Candidate number 1, what's your name?
What? You want?
Time's up. Candidate 2, what do you think of a candidate who doesn't know his name?
Bob.
What?
My name is Bob.
Candidate 3, tap dance to this musical cue.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow, that was something, wasn't it, Bob?
Yeah,
This is Paul Rosen, Clinical Director of AccuNatural Family Healthcare. Nutrition is more powerful than you can imagine. With AccuNatural, you can get results like my patient Sarah.
You'll start seeing results, and you're not going to go back. Get tested and change your life.
Do the right thing for your health as opposed to those other things.
Candidate 4, juggle these flaming torches. Oh, that went poorly. Bob, apply some first aid, will you?
First aid? I don't know.
Visit AccuNatural.com. ACUNatural.com.